Today, Way 31 learned the families of 3 people killed allegedly by a parolee are pushing for changes in the state's parole system. It's the latest development in the Way 31 I-team looking into the case against Jimmy Spencer. He is the career criminal who was let out on parole while serving a life sentence earlier this year. He's now charged with killing 3 people in Guntersville, including a 7-year-old boy. The state admits mistakes were made. Way 31's Brecken Terry spoke to the attorney representing those families about what they want to see changed.
Attorney Tommy James out of Birmingham is representing the families of Colton Lee, Marie Martin, and Martha Relaford. Jimmy Spencer, a man who was paroled just months ago, is accused of killing them. James wrote the Attorney General and the Governor's office this letter asking that their voices be heard.
And something's got to be done. That's why we want to be at the meeting. Our clients were directly affected by this.
Attorney Tommy James is talking about a meeting the I-team learned is scheduled to take place next week with top law enforcement officials from Alabama about cracks in the state's parole system. Our series of stories uncovered Spencer repeatedly broke terms of his parole and should have never been let out of prison in the first place. Now James wants to make sure his clients have a say to prevent something like this from happening again.
And what happened to my clients' family members is an example of what happens when a system breaks down and when individuals aren't doing their jobs.
The Attorney General's office said Spencer was mislabeled in its system as a non-victim offender and didn't know about his violent past. We obtained Spencer's prison records in an open records request and uncovered multiple stabbings, assaults, and fights Spencer was involved in while spending about 25 years in prison. Yet he was still paroled because the board said he had a positive conduct record.
He escaped 3 times. He was charged with assault 1 time. That ain't a positive institutional record.
James wants to speak with the governor and attorney general at next week's scheduled meeting on behalf of the families to hopefully spark change in the system.
Massive failures before and after parole. They're violating their own policies and procedures.
James tells me he is going to fight for these families. We will let you know what the Attorney General's office or the Governor's office says in response to his letter. In Florence, Brecken Terry, Way 31 News.
Thanks, Brecken. Spencer was supposed to be serving a life sentence for crimes he committed in Franklin County. In total, he has spent the better part of 30 years in prison.